What is up? It's your boy Johnny SHREVE, IFBB Pro, Mr. Tell Like It Is, guys. Welcome back to the channel. Now, I'm pretty sure you've probably heard that once you get in your 30s, your muscles just start to pour off you, your testosterone drops to absolutely zero, and you end up just crying for the rest of your life because gains can no longer be made. I'm here to tell you that there's some validity to that. Maybe to not that extent, but there is some truth behind some of that fear that getting into your 30s and older, things start to decline. So today, I'm gonna give you guys some advice on how to prevent the inevitable. Most time when you get consults, the question is, Johnny, can I still build muscle? I'm in my 40s, I'm in my 50s. Can I still get muscle? I used to be able to put on muscle so quick back in the day, and now it's just so hard. Recovering time is so much harder these days, like, I don't know what's going on. Can I still put muscle on and make gains? And the answer is yes, you can, but knowing why those things happen is very important also, so we know how to prevent them. So number one, why does that actually happen? Because there is truth behind that fear. It's called sarcopenia. Basically what happens, which is inevitable, I'm going through it, everyone's gonna go through it. What happens is that your body starts to decline in a few things. Number one, hormones. Your growth hormone levels start to dip. Your IGF-1 levels start to dip. Your ability to absorb protein or the protein synthesis starts to decline. All those things decline, and it's like, why? Well, that's just evolution. We can't do anything about it. That's just going to happen. But we have to really understand is that it's gonna vary between person to person based on genetics, but also mainly, most importantly, lifestyle. If you are going to get to a point in your life, in your 30s, that it is inevitable that you will start to decline in testosterone, your ability to heal like what you did before, all those things are going to happen regardless. And you're not training, and you're not eating properly, and you're not getting the rest and all those things you should already be doing, it's gonna exacerbate the effects even more. And that's why there's a lot of people in our age demographic, 30 and plus, that find it like an uphill battle to climb every time they start their fitness journey over and over and over again. Here's what you have to be aware of that's going to happen. A decrease in growth hormone, a decrease in testosterone, an increase of insulin resistance, and a decrease in physical activity. Most of those things are going to naturally happen. The decrease in physical activity is based on you. Because again, the older we get, the more responsibilities we have. We have a career that we have to work our ass off for. We can't just have that retail job when you're younger and just quit it and go home and be like, we good, man, I'm living at home with mom or something, or find the next job really easy or work the bar job that allows you to kind of do whatever you kind of want, probably even family. And if you have like, you have a wife and then probably maybe have some kids that are rolling around, you just have more responsibilities. I know how hard it is to actually train. Even though I am a bodybuilder, the only time I can actually train is when I train with my client because I'm busy. Because when I'm done training, my entire day starts. My actual day starts when I'm training my client. When I'm done working, I got a daughter that I need to give attention to that makes me feel guilty a lot of times for being in this office, and she's downstairs right now while I'm in here making videos, but that's just how life works. Now, knowing that that is going to happen, we have to take preventive measures. Here's some other things you have to understand. Muscle protein synthesis, your ability to train and then eat protein and then your body and recover protein and then build muscle and all that good stuff is declining. It's declining, not rapidly. It will decline rapidly if your lifestyle reflects all the reasons why it would start declining rapidly. Meaning, if you're not working out already, if your nutrition isn't where it should be, if you're not resting, all those things, once you get in your 30s, it exacerbates. And that's why all those rumors, you're like, man, as soon as I got in my 30s, man, I didn't have that fat before, and all of a sudden now this is sitting here. It's because of that, literally. So all things start to decline a little bit. And you're like, well, what the heck, Johnny? Like, this is the worst video you ever did in your life. Like, this sounds terrible. What do I do? Again, remember, beginning of the video, I said, a lot of these things can be prevented and slowed down. What will exacerbate these things is not doing what I'm about to tell you. So number one, if you're already training and you're already thinking about nutrition, you're conscious about your nutrition and training and recovery and all the good stuff, great, awesome. But now you're in your 30s, we need to talk about our approach to that more, even more so now. And here's how I do this. Number one, when it comes to resistance training, how should we train? Johnny, Should I be like training way lighter? Because like, you know, since we're getting older and things start to decline, maybe I'm more, you know, susceptible to injury. Should I not, you know, lift heavy weights? And what do I do? These are questions literally I get all the time. Here's what we need to do. Resistance training and strength training is even more important now. You're like, whoa, Johnny, slow the heck down, man. What do you mean strength training? Strength training, I mean that when you're doing your resistance training in terms of like hypertrophy and you're doing all the things you want to do to make sure you still look good, you want bigger biceps, bigger shoulders, arms, butt, back, legs, whatever, both men and women, whatever, right? We have to make sure there's something in there that is directly trying to get us stronger, because our body's kind of in this uphill battle. And the more we train smart and adding something like a, you know, strength phase into our periodization or to our mesocycle, that is going to make our body that much more resilient, because again, things are kind of falling off a bit. So making sure our approach to training is this. Let's just make sure when we're using any type of load in the gym, when we're talking hypertrophy, it's 70 to 85% of your 1 rep max. Meaning we do want to push that higher end load to force the body to adapt, because again, the body's like, hey man, I don't really need to adapt that quick anymore. You know, back in the day, you could probably pick up 50% of your 1 rep max, all of a sudden, bam, gains is coming. When now it's like you try to do the same thing and you're like, you know, I'm only gonna kind of lift a little bit of weight. You know, I'm gonna work on just being able to get the reps and not just really challenge myself. That's why I get the questions every single time, like, man, I train all the time and I just seem to not make any progress. Well, it's because naturally your body is starting to decline and you're not doing what you need to do to offset that. You need to start pushing things up a little higher. Now, it doesn't mean go in the gym and be careless and start hurting yourself. It means that effort and intensity needs to be high all the time. Effort and intensity doesn't translate to 1 rep max. I think it's the issue when it comes to people that train. They think that if I train really hard, that means hard means heavy. No, hard means taking 70 to 85% of your 1 rep max to close to failure all of the time. Not failure, I'm talking close to failure. Like, whoa, Johnny, I'm gonna explain. What is actual failure? Okay, failure is this. Here's my set, full range of motion, boom, boom. All of a sudden, I can't get all the way up. Is that failure? Nope, failure is a couple partial reps and I can no longer do a partial, that's failure. So we're taking sets close to failure. I would say 2 to 3 reps from failure is a good enough intensity load that'll help your body get stronger and more resilient. 8 to 12 reps, 6 to 12, 6 to 12, 8 to 12 reps, it's fine. When it comes to reps, guys, we're not talking about like just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We're talking like 8 to 12 or 6 to 12 reps, right? Equals to be around like 30 to 45 seconds. So if you only get 30 seconds or the lower end of the rep range, you better be getting there at 2 to 3 reps from failure. Or if you make it to the peak rep range or the peak duration, that means you're making it there to 2 to 3 reps from failure. You're not picking a weight just so you can get it to the highest rep range. You're picking a weight that's gonna help, that's gonna make you almost fail at the bottom range. And then on a week-to-week basis, progressive overload means that you're adding a rep. You're adding a rep and you're adding a rep and you're adding a rep until you make it to the max rep range. And then you're like, I can do all 3 or 4 sets to 12. It's time to add weight because I need to go into the gym to get stronger so I can get weaker. You're doing yourself an injustice, and all that, and that good old Sarcopenia is gonna be like, ha, you really thought you're gonna reverse me by using that weight? Good luck, buddy. Here comes sluggish Sarcopenia Steve. That's his name. Sluggish Sarcopenia Steve is gonna come kick down your door and be like, that ain't effort, bam! See a pound of muscle, that ain't effort, bam! Guy, you know what I'm saying. Anyway. So make sure we're progressive overloading. We are adding reps on a week-to-week basis until we can actually add weight first. And again, we can increase our intensity by just making the rep harder, making the rep longer, adding set intensifiers. We don't have to always go to, let's add weight every single time. And all these things will help slow down the process of sarcopenia to a halt, right? It's not gonna prevent it. It's gonna slow it the heck down a lot so you can still make progress. All right, protein, massively important. Why? Because protein absorption, muscle protein synthesis, all those things start to decline. Hormones start to decline. What do you think makes muscle? What do you think is one of those things that are gonna help you make muscle? Hormones, right? Obviously protein and like macronutrients as a whole, protein and carbs, well, glucose mostly, but regardless, protein and carbs and stuff are gonna help you build muscle, recover muscle, and build muscle with some resistance training. But again, what makes that thing happen are hormones. So if those things start dropping, we need to make sure that we cover our protein bases. We can do like a 1 to 1 grams of protein per body weight, which is completely and utterly fine. That is the perfect amount in my point of view. You can do a little higher, you can do more than that if you want. But when it comes to the age demographic that are getting older that need more protein, 1 to 1 grams of protein per body weight is recommended. For those who are in a deficit and they're dieting, right? Let's say you're 40 years old and you need to diet because you need to lose some weight, some fat, and we're already in an uphill battle. We need to make sure we're covering our protein bases, 1 to 1 grams of protein per body weight. And then making sure that we're getting protein spread out evenly throughout the day. Not like, yeah, man, it's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, man, I'm finally have some protein, you know, and then I'll add a little protein later on. No, it's like, we're gonna have protein at least 3 times a day, evenly spread out, to 5 times a day, right? 3 to 5. Those who are intermittent fasting, and you're not doing it for religious purposes, stop it. I'm just saying, I don't like, if anything, like when it comes to diets, guys, I'm intermittent fasting, man, but I intermittent fast. But it doesn't mean that you have to do it to the book. If you just had protein in the beginning of your day, say like, oh, my window's not until 2 o'clock in the afternoon or 6 o'clock in the afternoon, well, let's at least get some protein in, at least just protein. At least that throughout the day at least, and then you can start adding on the rest of the things. I don't care what diet you're trying to do. If the diet makes you not eat protein throughout the day, the diet is inefficient. There is zero arguing to anybody that we can miss protein for an entire half of the day and that's gonna be beneficial by some means. It's not. Protein, even distributed throughout the day, 20 to 30 grams each meal will help you out. And then toss some shakes, like I just said, Blue Star Nutraceuticals, Iso Smooth. Toss some shakes, it'll be easier for you to get your protein in, because most people are like, man, that's hard to get a lot of that protein in. I can eat another chicken breast or big ass steak or whatever it is. Don't have to. Have scoop protein. Just like that, good to go. Cardiovascular are aerobic training with high intensity interval training as well too. It doesn't mean you have to have the entire week stuffed with different types of training. It just means that I'd be going to the gym. If I were you, my recommendation is at least 3 times a week, training 30 to 40 minutes hard. I'm talking intensity, high, effort, high, right? And then on some other days, you're doing some aerobic training. You're doing something where you're doing cardio. We want to train the heart. We want to make sure we're doing some cardio, or maybe going for a walk, swim, something like where your heart rate can go into that zone 2 heart rate. How do you get your zone 2 heart rate? Check it out, super simple. 220 minus your age will give you your max heart rate. Then take your max heart rate, times that by 0.5 or 0.6 or 0.7. That'll give you your zone 2 cardio. That's your heart rate should be. Keep it in that range for like 45 minutes to an hour, you know, and spread out throughout the week, at least 3 times a week. And we can just put a halt to crusty old Steve. You know what I'm saying? Sarcopenia Steve. Some high intensity interval training. Now it doesn't mean we have to go and do a bunch of like crazy wind sprints. But like adding some stuff in, like, you know, some boxing classes or something, anything where it's gonna spike our heart, it's gonna challenge our heart aerobically at a high intensity level, a few times a week. Some very obvious things when it comes to nutrition. Yes, we need to eat enough calories as a whole, because calories is obviously energy. So you can have all the protein you want, and like, Johnny, I'm getting all the protein I'm in, and I'm getting that in, but like, I seem to be just still weak and sluggish and yada yada. It's like, oh, it's because you're only focusing on that one thing. We need to make sure that we're giving our body the other macronutrients that it needs. Obviously carbs, making sure that you're eating enough fiber. The men, 35 to 40 grams of fiber. Work your way up to that. If you decide, you know, today I haven't been eating fiber at all, I'm gonna have 40 grams of fiber. You're gonna be in a world of hurt. Work your way up to 35 to 40 grams of fiber. Women, 20 to 25 grams of fiber. That's gonna help your digestion. That's gonna help all the things gut-wise that would help prevent inflammation in our bodies. We hear all the word inflammation, you hear it all the time. Inflammation is the way our body heals itself, protects itself. When there's something going on, something wrong, when something is wrong, inflammation comes in. So inflammation is not a good thing, right? It's how our body heals, and it's a good thing our body knows how to do that, but it's not something you want your body to do. So when does inflammation happen? When you cut yourself, when you bump your knee or get a bruise, when you got a virus of some sort, when you're overweight, inflammation comes in, bam, you swell up, and it's like, oh, you don't want that. Because high inflammation means tiredness, body pain, digestive issues, skin problems, mood disorders. So as much as inflammation is a good thing that our body can do to help heal itself, we don't want inflammation. So how do we prevent inflammation? Nutrients. What nutrients are we talking about, Johnny? Omega-3 rich foods. If you can't get omega-rich foods like salmon, then you supplement it. You can supplement it with Blue Star's Omega Blue. Bam. Just have it right there, dead serious. Get that in you, it's great. If you don't want that, then make sure you're eating it. Make sure you're eating it. Omega-3, and then you want some high antioxidant foods like berries. Blackberries, strawberries, raspberries, blueberries. Great antioxidants plus fiber as well too. And that'll help bring down inflammation. And then massive, in the end, lifestyle. You're doing mindfulness things, meaning you're taking out the time to your day to de-stress. You're finding time to take all the things that are making your mind do this, your work, your family, your everything, just like, you gotta put away time for yourself. Yoga, meditation, going for just like easy walks that aren't cardio, just to get out and just to be able to, you know, just de-stress, right? If you want to get in a cold plunge and that helps you de-stress, go right at it. Whatever you can do to help yourself de-stress is extremely important, because all the things that sluggish Sacro Steve will bring into your life, stress will be the one thing that will increase instead of decrease. And we need to make sure that we are mitigating our daily stress. Do those things. Do those things I just said, because I'm doing those things right now. That's what I'm doing right now, because I'm aware of the things that are gonna happen, and I refuse to let sluggish Sarcopenia Steve to come into my life and take away my joy and my health and fitness. Do those things. If you're not already doing them right now, I suggest you do them. If you need help doing those things right now, I suggest joining my school community, because everyone in that community is avoiding sluggish Sacro Steve. Dead serious, join it right now. Either way, guys, hope you enjoyed that video. Until next time, you know how it is. Iron sharpens iron, progressive overload your life. In the meantime, keep dream chasing. Peace.